This session is based on front lying moves, so prone lying moves. You're going to be working through a series of moves to help create space through the upper and lower back and hopefully build a bit of flexibility through the lower back as well. So as I said, we're starting off on our front. Come on to your front now. And you're going to come into almost a cobra pose, a sphinx pose I suppose you would call it. You've got your elbows underneath your shoulders here, palms flat down onto the floor. And I've got the belly lifted here, so I am engaging through the tummy muscles. I'm going to make sure the shoulders are dropped, and I'm just looking at my fingertips. That's about the level that I'm looking at here. I'm going to start with neck turns. So just working with your breath, let the head turn to one side, back to the centre and to the other side. So you're just going to exhale to one side, inhale back to the centre and exhale to the other. We want to make sure those shoulders stay low, so don't let them ride up towards the ears. You'll find that your belly should stay engaged and lifted all the way through. We're just creating some space through the muscles that run down the side of the neck here. And all the way through the upper back. So you should be starting to find by now that you've got a bit more range of movement. You're able to turn a bit more from one side to the other. We'll do one more to each side here. And we can come back to the centre and rest off. Okay, now we're going to extend the hands out in front of us, and we'll let the hands stay up quite high for this move. So the shoulders are still back and down and the belly is still lifted. You're going to pull in tight with all of the back muscles here and just have the hands close enough that you can sweep one hand across the floor and lift the other one up. Now, when we do this, we're going to exhale. So exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. And all the time that you're raising and lowering, you want to make sure that those shoulders remain in that fixed position. So if you build any tension into this move, the shoulders are going to start dangling off your ears like earrings. We don't want that to happen. We want to keep that length and strength through the torso. I'm doing quite a big lift here. You don't have to do this bigger lift. You could even just look to sliding the hand forward at this point if you wanted to. So it doesn't have to be a big move. It's just anything that allows the weight to shift from one hand to the other while you're trying to keep your hips and your belly really still and controlled. So we'll do a couple more on each side here. And we'll do one more each side. Good. So you can bring the elbows back down now, return back down to the floor a little bit. And the next move that we're going to do, we're going to need a little bit more control to be close to the floor. So I'm going to get you to come down a little bit more. And you'll bring the hands out in front of you. But I want to still have a bit of lift through the torso, so the chest is still lifted from the floor. Now if you want to make this a really easy move, you could do one hand at a time. So you could leave one hand on the floor and you're going to pull one hand back behind you. So that's the beginner's version of this move, or if you have any shoulder pain or back pain, you might want to go for this move. But if you want to take it up a little bit, the stomach engages, we keep the rib cage and the pelvis level and even, we pull the belly in tight and we lift both hands up and both arms come down at the same time. Exhale to stretch away, inhale here and exhale to pull back down. I can't decide which part of this move I'd rather you exhaled with because it's both quite tense when you're taking the weight out in front or when you're squeezing the elbows in towards the waist here. There's a lot going on. Now look at my eye line, it's staying down close towards the floor, so the back of the neck always stays lengthened here. I'm never looking up and cranking through the back of the neck. I want it to stay long, and that's helping me keep the rib cage and the pelvis in line with each other so the belly can stay lifted and the back can stay in this neutral position, this lumbar spine, always in neutral. I'm trying to keep the legs as still as possible. I'm not saying it's a complete success. but we're looking to be able to keep the lower body nice and still and controlled. So we're going to do 2 more here. And the last one. Now coming down to this position here, I want you to place the hands onto the floor. Make sure those shoulders are low, and we can come into a half cobra here. So we're raising up, but I'm going to be keeping the elbows on the floor here. Again, the belly, try and get it raised, keep the shoulders low, keep the neck lengthened, and we're going to do leg lifts from here. So we inhale to prepare and exhale to lift one leg. Inhale to lower and exhale to lift the other leg. You can see it's not a big move here. You're just trying to keep the torso still while the leg lifts up. If you find it's too tough to stay in this position, you can come into your diamond press position and continue on from there. And you might find you get a slightly bigger lift. Otherwise, you can stay in your half cobra. And if you really want to work hard, you could come into the full cobra, but you might find that you don't get too much lift through the leg. So if you want to balance it out, it's quite nice to stay in that half cobra. And then you get a real feeling of lift. And you still get the tension and the work and the strengthening through the shoulders here. Okay, so we'll do 1 more to either side. Exhale to raise, inhale to lower. Exhale to raise, inhale to lower. Now stay on whatever position you've come to. Stay there, lift both legs, turn the heels together, the toes out, and we'll click the heels. So keep clicking. We'll inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. You can raise up higher if you want. You might find you can take, almost into the cobra lift there. I'm not quite managing. I'm always tight through the lumbar spine. So keep the clicks going. Try and keep that height all the way through. Inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. So we'll do 2 more breaths. And last breath here. You can return the legs back down to the floor, and we are going to come up onto the hands now into our single leg swan dive. So we've done this one before. Inhale to prepare, exhale to sweep down and back up. Alternate the legs. So as you go down, you choose a different leg. Now I'm looking for you to try and keep the hips level on the floor, or at least the rib cage level on the floor as you come into the swan dive. And we want to be able to hold that line all the way from the top of the head out through the heel. We'll do 1 more to each side. And we come back down into our half cobra. Our last move here is going to be our scorpion move. So we've got the hands down, elbows down, but watch, because one elbow is going to come off the floor during this move. We're going to pick up one leg, we're going to take it over, look at the elbow coming up, and we tap. And we bring it back and do the same to the other side. The elbow comes up, and we tap the toe over. Now we're looking to gain some height with this move. We want the knee coming up high, and we want that toe raising up, almost in line with the waist if it can. So lots of movement going on here. Exhale to scorpion. And inhale to return. And exhale to scorpion. Keep it going. And we'll do 1 more to each side. And the last one there. Good. Raise yourself up. And if you never feel that you get enough moves that take you into those hyperextended positions, well, that program should help balance that out. Great job.